Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, end of the week. You made it. Congratulations. I just wanted to mention before we get started to the seniors, I'm going to start with you next week. Would like to meet with you virtually via Zoom or something I will send out. We're going to meet on Tuesday at 11 o'clock a.m. Tuesday at 11 o'clock. I will send out a link for a Zoom or Google Hangout meeting or something. And I would like to talk about the end of the year, scenarios of whether we are in school or not, because I would still love to do senior solos, whether in person or virtually. I would like to, we got to talk about handprints on the wall. I need you on that wall. I need to talk about, a senior song possibly, stuff like that. So Tuesday at 11, okay? Quick results from yesterday. Long Tall Sally versus All Along the Watchtower. 5 votes in between the two of them. Very close. 5 more votes went to Jimi Hendrix and All Along the Watchtower. Layla versus Let It Be. Layla got 19 votes total. So Let It Be, needless to say, is moving on there. Use Somebody versus Thinking Out Loud. 63% chose Thinking Out Loud. And Since You've Been Gone versus Let Her Go. Passengers Let Her Go is moving on by 56%. So now we are in the final quarter of the bracket. And today's songs these are heavyweight songs. These are big, and just the randomness of how they were chosen, there are 4 really big songs going up against each other today by 4 very big artists. So the first matchup is the Beatles. They're back with their song Help versus the Beach Boys' God Only Knows. So Help by the Beatles. It's one of my favorite Beatles songs. John Lennon is the brainchild behind most of this one and the singer of the lead part. So when you watch the live performance here today, John Lennon is the one that is doing the awkward speech at the beginning, just weird. And then he sings the lead. And he says this about the song. Most people think it's just a fast rock and roll song, but subconsciously, I was crying out for help. When I read and learn stuff like that, it makes me go back and listen to the song again, and I hear it like I'm hearing it for the first time. It adds so much to the song. He said, I didn't realize it at the time. He was overwhelmed by Beatlemania, and says that John Lennon was eating like a pig, drinking too much, and smoking marijuana for breakfast. I'm no doctor, but that does not sound like a healthy lifestyle. And he was only 24 years old. And he was already expressing in this song like his lost youth. When I was young, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way, but now those days are gone. So when you listen to it with knowing that information, it's really a powerful song, I think. And John Lennon said this. He said, I don't like the record that much. We took it too fast to try to be commercial. He actually wrote this a lot slower, because it's kind of a sad song, obviously, crying out for help, but to make it more radio ready and catchy, they went fast with it. So listen for that when you're watching that recording today. It's powerful. And then the Beach Boys, God Only Knows. I love this song. So Carl Wilson is not usually the lead voice of the Beach Boys, but he sang this one. And this was off an album called Pet Sounds, which is typically in the top 5 of people's greatest albums of all time lists. It was kind of experimental. They tried some stuff and it worked. For this song, for example, they used horns, sleigh bells, strings, and an accordion. And that is an interesting mix of instrumentation, but it just works. Brian Wilson of the group talked about the song, and he said that he was fascinated by spirituality, and he said that this song came out of prayer sessions in the studio. and it was a big departure from previous Beach Boys songs that mostly dealt with girls, cars, and surfing. The only problem was the use of the word God in the title scared off a lot of radio programmers. So this one actually only got to 39 on the charts, I believe, and now it's one of their most well-known songs. To reference the Beatles one more time, Paul McCartney of the Beatles said this: at once he called God Only Knows the greatest song ever written. So, man, it's a tough vote there. I'll be interested to see what happens there. And then the second duo battle is Bob Dylan's "The Times They Are A Changing" versus Aretha Franklin's "Respect." Two more big songs. So Bob Dylan, "Times They Are A Changing." 10th, 11th, and 12th graders, you should recognize this song, I think. We sang it last year at the Pops concert as part of a Bob Dylan little mashup. 9th graders is one might be new to you. Every time I listen to this, I think part of the genius of this song is so good with lyrics is that I think this song will always fit the time. In the 60s, it fit. The times are changing. I feel like if we made a slideshow video of the past 2 months of our lives, this could be the theme song. The times are changing. Things are changing. I bet 50 years from now they can play this song and think this fits. Just such powerful lyrics. And he recorded this song in 1963. And less than a month after he recorded it and performed it for the first time, President Kennedy was assassinated. And that just made this song that much more powerful and meaningful at the time. And I'm learning that on this list of greatest songs of all time, a lot of them are tied to very specific historical events, whether it be the Civil Rights Movement with some of these songs, or the Vietnam War, or the Kennedy assassination, or other wars. Just a lot of these songs are tied to a very specific time in history, which is why they are so important that we know about them. And this is one of them. This had a big role in the Civil Rights Movement and in this time of uncertainty after Kennedy's assassination. So I put two versions of this on there. The first one is Bob Dylan. It's from the 60s, and the recording quality is not good, but you get the idea. And then there's a new group, Josh Turner, I think his name is. That sounds wrong to me. He does this version, Josh Turner, with a friend of his, and I just love it. I love it so much because it's newer, so it's really easy to understand. But they really hold true to the Bob Dylan style. They don't try to make it super poppy or anything like that. So I would encourage you to listen to some of that one too. But really try to listen for those lyrics, I would say if you don't know the lyrics, Google them and have them there, and we'll read them while Bob Dylan sings them, because powerful stuff. And then, speaking of powerful, Aretha Franklin, R-E-S-P-E-C-T, sassy song here. This song was actually written and recorded by somebody that was already on this list earlier, Otis Redding, sitting on the dock of the bay, that song. He was the one that wrote a song, and then his plane crashed in the lake. He did this song first, and then Aretha Franklin heard it and made it her own, and this is the definitive version now that most people know. It was her first #1 hit, and it really established her as the Queen of Soul. That's her nickname, the Queen of Soul. Just a legend, an icon, that another name I want you to know, if you don't already, Aretha. One of those one-word artists, Aretha, Prince. Anyway, so the Otis Redding version, Aretha took it and added some stuff. She added the Sakatumi, Sakatumi, Sakatumi. The background singers, two of them are actually her sisters. They added the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. That wasn't even in the original. That's kind of the most famous part of the song. And she also changed some of the words around. The Otis Redding version starts out with, "What you want, baby, you got it. What you need, you know you got it." And Aretha made it more sassy, and she's changed it to "What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know, I got it." So definitely made it a little more sassy. Um, and I think it needs to be mentioned that an African American woman in the 60s demanding respect from people was controversial. It was noteworthy. And who better than Aretha Franklin, a strong, confident woman, to say, "That's all I'm asking for when I come home is a little respect." And she was actually going through a very rocky, difficult marriage at the time, which a lot of people think was part of the inspiration for her performances. But so much fun watching her perform. What an amazing singer. Paved the way for a lot of people. And yeah, so big songs today. I can't wait for you to dive into them, so I hope you enjoy them. The new songs you're listening to today are White Stripes, Seven Nation Army, boom, 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 and Darius Rucker's Wagon Wheel, Rock Me Mama Like a Wagon Wheel. That's not Darius Rucker's song. Do you know who wrote that? Do you know who recorded that first? His name was Bob Dylan. Did you know that? And then Coldplay's The Scientist versus Sam Smith's Stay With Me. Good songs today, some good music you're going to be listening to. And just finally, real quick, I just want to thank you for those of you that are watching these videos consistently. It's a lot of time, honestly, selfishly, it's a lot of time researching all of these songs, finding good videos for you, and recording these things, and I don't see it as a wasted. I'm learning so much and enjoying the process, and some of you have expressed that you are too, and that makes me really happy, especially if you're doing this with your family. But every day, about 200-ish people watch these videos out of 230, and so, I mean, it's pretty clear to me, based on your answers to the questions I'm asking you. When I was asking you for the word of the day, I feel like is there like a word of the day app or website or something? Because some people clearly weren't watching the videos, and then just kind of like the words you guys were coming up with, some of you, it's like, of all the words to guess for the word of the day. But no, I really appreciate you taking the time to take this process seriously. It means a lot to me, because this music, obviously, it means a lot to me too. So I appreciate you. I hope you have a great weekend, and I love you. Bye-bye.